guys, welcome to the pre-show of the London, England NXT Takeover event. And we have a couple of NXT superstars that are going to showcase some of their talent here to get ready for the big show in itself. And that right there is Andrade Cien Almas, as he's scheduled for a one-on-one rematch against Ricochet in the pre-show of the NXT Takeover. So obviously, the real show is where we're going to be showcasing our NXT Championship matches, plus our 205 Live Championship matches as well. But Andrade Cien Almas, after losing in the second round of the NXT Championship tournament, Ricochet has pretty much been poking at Andrade, and Andrade has not been liking it. So he's going to get a chance to get some revenge on Ricochet, to get the one-up on Ricochet. He already defeated Ricochet one time, and that was in the first match of the first round of the NXT Championship tournament. Here comes Ricochet right now. He looks very focused. So I normally don't really play a lot of matches here on Universe mode because I try to keep the decisions unbiased. But for this particular match, I'm going to be playing as Andrade because, you know, I want to see exactly how it is to use these guys, these NXT guys that I got off the community creations. As wow, Ricochet looks really focused tonight. As Andrade better watch out. I better watch out. Ricochet may just pull the one up on me today. So this right here is the pre-show of the NXT Takeover. I'm of course Kaisah Wrestling, and I am so excited about the real show in itself coming your way very soon. So now it's Andrade Cien Almas versus Ricochet in the pre-show. So this right here is going to be the arena that everything is going to be taking place at. TJ Perkins versus Brian Kendrick. Samoa Joe versus Magnus. That huge fatal four-way TLC match between Shinsuke Nakamura, Bobby Roode, Elias Sampson, and Bobby Lashley. All of that and more to look forward to in this NXT Takeover. Huge exclusive event on Kaisah Wrestling. So I know I'm gonna get bashed in the comments for probably not having the best build-up. I mean, I personally thought the build-up was alright. I like the idea of the NXT Championship tournament. So that in itself really added some opportunity for new superstars. So I like the NXT Championship tournament, but I will honestly say the build-up wasn't really the best for all the other matches, and there was a couple of matches I would say that the build-ups were pretty good, but I mean, the Women's Championship match, I know a lot of you guys don't even know what's going on for that because there just wasn't enough time to build up for that, so I'm apologize for that, and I promise that I will be doing a little bit better on the NXT storyline, so it'll be just like the SmackDown and Raw ones, no discrimination allowed here. So I will kind of give you guys the card, as we're going to be having the NXT Tag Team titles on the line. It'll be the Revival going 2-on-2 with DIY, and I wonder how the Revival are holding up after their loss against TM61 this past Wednesday on NXT. So hopefully the Revival will be able to lead with their tag team titles. Asuka will be defending the NXT Women's Championship in a triple threat match against Mickie James and Billie Kay. I know I got into that very briefly, but that is what's going to be going on. And of course, just like the other shows, the women's matches on NXT will get a lot better after this takeover event. I think honestly it just takes one pay-per-view learning curve for me to learn what to do with these superstars, because I have a whole bunch of them, and as what the game gives me and what the community creation gives me, I just have so many superstars to work with. So I'm trying my best to give everybody a little bit of camera time, as that's why I have this pre-show going on, as now Ricochet just delivering one hell of a beatdown to me right now, as Andrade just trying to come back. So going back to the card, we're also going to have something that I have created, which is called the NXT Showcase, which will pretty much be a match that will feature two new superstars facing off for an NXT contract. So we don't know who those superstars are. It's going to be a huge surprise for everybody. So we'll see who will be those two superstars that are going to be debuting here at TakeOver. So I think that's going to get you guys pretty excited. And of course, we have our NXT Championship match, Samoa Joe taking on Magnus in the main event. We have Brian Kendrick going one-on-one with TJ Perkins. In the Cruiserweight Championship main event on 205 Live, we have Lince Dorado taking on Tony Nese in a last man standing match. And then we also have our Fatal 4-Way #1 contenders match featuring 4 of NXT's best superstars. So we got with Andrade Cien Almas a little bit earlier today. He was a little bit salty that he wasn't included in that match because Andrade felt like he was a big part of that tournament, but it just wasn't happening for Andrade. So Andrade was definitely not happy about the results of what's been going on NXT. And as you saw, Vince McMahon is now in charge of the operations on NXT, so things are really going to be shaken up on the NXT roster. In the next coming episodes is now Andrade just measuring Ricochet. I'm playing right now with the indicators off because I definitely want to get a little bit of a challenge. So there goes single arm hammerlock DDT by Andrade, and there goes the rope break again. So now we're going to get back into this match a little bit because even though I am playing, I'm going to call it. So Andrade now backing Ricochet up into the corner. Ricochet has also been one hell of a pick for NXT. We had a lot of good signings. As Magnus was the newest signing to the NXT roster, and now he's going to be facing Samoa Joe. So Magnus earning his stripes in the short time he's been here at NXT. But now Andrade and Ricochet would also love to follow up. I think you could say that Andrade and Ricochet both have been a little bit overlooked, so I think this match holds a little bit of importance to both of these superstars, as there goes a cover there by Andrade. As right now, I have no idea of the damage controls. I don't know how much damage Ricochet has because I shut all of that off. The only thing that is on is the indicators for the specials and the counters, so I don't make it ridiculously hard. But this is pretty hard. I mean, not being able to see the damage that you're doing to the other superstars makes it a little bit more difficult, but I'm hanging in there. So Andrade now coming back as he delivers double knees onto the top of Ricochet. So now things are not looking so good for Ricochet at the moment. So now I think I ran out of stamina momentarily. As now Andrade drives Ricochet into the mat. There goes that hammerlock DDT again by Andrade Cien Almas. And that right there may spell the end for Ricochet tonight. Thank you for coming. As Andrade may be picking up the first victory at NXT Takeover. This will definitely impress Vince McMahon. So we may see Andrade Cien Almas in a future title shot. So just quickly saying, NXT TakeOver Dallas will be taking place in a month because I did screw up on the calendar timing. So I've made back-to-back NXTs when they're supposed to be every other month. So I definitely found a solution to culminate for that, because there's going to be a period that there's going to be a 2-month gap between NXT TakeOver, I believe it's Brooklyn, and then it will be a 2-month gap until the next NXT TakeOver event. So between that time, I'm gonna incorporate a little bit of a minor show to have those NXT Championship bouts, just so we don't space them out too much. So don't worry, I will be in the process of fixing that error. But right now, Andrade Cien Almas with one hell of a victory, and I don't think he's done. He's just looking at Ricochet. Andrade Cien Almas is trying to make a name for himself today at NXT TakeOver. So Ricochet may be in a world of trouble. There goes Andrade just tossing Ricochet inside the ring. Almas having no resilience or no remorse on Ricochet at all, as now there goes Andrade standing moonsault onto Ricochet. It's now Ricochet is just looking up at the lights. Andrade has made a name for himself, and he's going to continue. There goes the hammerlock DDT on Ricochet, and Andrade Cien Almas just delivering a nasty assault to Ricochet. So what else is going to happen in this pre-show here at NXT TakeOver England? Well, welcome back to the NXT TakeOver pre-show, and that is the Cowboy James Storm. I don't know what he's doing out here, as I don't think the Cowboy's scheduled for a match, but nonetheless, James Storm is out here tonight. I guess he has a message for the NXT universe, as we haven't really seen James Storm in action at all since the NXT Championship tournament. Now you guys must think this is real funny, huh? NXT TakeOver in England. and the Cowboy James Storm is not even scheduled a match. What kind of crap is this? I thought Vince McMahon was saying that he was going to do a better job than that idiot general manager William Regal. But right now, he's still slipping up just as bad as he did, because he did not schedule me, the Cowboy James Storm, in a match tonight on NXT Takeover. So you know what? I'm going to take matters into my own hands, and I don't care what any of you guys have to say about it, because I run things on my own. So I'm going to throw a challenge out there for anybody in the locker room who wants to come out here and get a piece of the Cowboy James Storm. So who's it going to be? Who's going to be the sorry soul that I'm going to have to put to rest today with my last call super kick? Well, James Storm just threw out an open challenge. Get out of here. There is no way. That is the Big Red Machine, Kane. Well, that is not an NXT superstar at all. That is the 7-foot, 300-pound Big Red Monster, Kane. And I'm sure that James Storm was not expecting Kane to come in here tonight. And neither were the rest of us. What is Kane doing here at TakeOver? Well, nonetheless, James Storm making an open challenge here in our pre-show. And the Big Red Machine answers that challenge with absolute gratitude. Well, Kane, this is the first time we're seeing Kane here on NXT at all. And James Storm is definitely pacing back and forth, trying to figure out what he's going to have to do to defeat Kane. Well, James Storm wanted a match at TakeOver. He's definitely going to have one now. This is not looking good at all for the Cowboy. As now Kane just in pursuit as he's just going after James Storm with hard right hands. As nobody was expecting to see Kane here at all. Well, NXT TakeOver, I promised you, was going to be full of surprises. And we have our #1 surprise going on right now in our pre-show as Kane taking on James Storm right now in his open challenge. Well, James Storm has always been the type of man to put a foot in his mouth. And I think he's definitely angered the Big Red Machine today. Well, James Storm pretty much saying that Vince McMahon is not doing a good job. He was also saying that William Regal is a pretty mediocre manager. So Kane answering his challenge, and there goes Kane tossing James Storm onto the ramp. As Kane right now is definitely not a man that anybody could be prepared for. But Kane needs to also know that there is count out in this match. So we have an official match right now as Mr. McMahon, the new NXT general manager, probably calling Kane over from SmackDown Live to teach a lesson to James Storm. As right now, Kane on this attack is please like and subscribe for this surprise visit from Kane. And now James Storm is no slouch at all. We've seen him on NXT. He is definitely one tough SOB in the ring. He was competing in the NXT Championship tournament, losing in the first round. Right now, James Storm with that big splash onto Kane. As now he's introducing Kane to some NXT action. But now the Big Red Machine, former WWE champion, former tag team champion, multi-time tag team champion, if I may add to that. Now Kane just tossing James Storm into the corner, comes with that splash. How on earth is anybody prepared for Kane? That is my question. If you're James Storm, you're probably here expecting like a No Way Jose, or maybe even a Rich Swann, but Kane is a SmackDown Live blooded superstar. He's now pushing Storm down. There was a drop kick to the face of Storm. It's now James Storm in trouble early in this match as Kane has been delivering one hell of a beatdown to Storm. I guess you could call this sort of a debut for the Big Red Machine. As now NXT TakeOver always delivering something to remember. And now there goes a code breaker by James Storm. As James Storm is not going to be intimidated by Kane at all. So there goes a kick out by the 7-foot, 300-pound monster. Well, now, as big as Kane is, to have a man this size just delivering a hell of a beatdown to you is something else. It's now James Storm just realizing that he's in the brunt of the attack of Kane. Now Storm trying to probably shake off the cobwebs, but Kane right there, I think he was going to attempt that tombstone, and now responding back. It's now Kane looking really good in this match, and that's something that you're afraid of a Kane gaining momentum. And James Storm right now is a sitting duck. There goes Kane right there with a knee to the face of Storm. James Storm has never faced anybody like Kane. As now there goes a mandible claw sort of move. As now there goes a submission hold by Kane. He may get the tap out here. James Storm is in a world of trouble. As now Storm able to thwart that attack, using his strength to push that mandible claw off of him. But Kane now, as he grabs the throat of James Storm, we all know what's coming next. Thank you for coming, James Storm. There goes a choke slam by the Big Red Machine, and he's going to send James Storm packing, but no, Storm grabbing the rope. As you have to be pretty impressed by Storm, even though that he did not know that this challenge was coming from Kane. He is delivering one hell of a challenge, but Kane puts him down, sidewalk slam. There goes a cover there by the Big Red Monster. As now, the NXT fans are going absolutely mad. They were not expecting to see Kane here at all. As soon as that fire and brimstone surrounded the NXT arena, these fans went wild. As now there goes Storm with an attempt, but Kane with that counter. Kane has had a response for everything that James Storm has had in this match. There goes another cover by Kane. Well, what does this mean? As Mr. McMahon probably signed Kane to the NXT roster. We know we haven't really seen him in action too much on SmackDown Live, but it may be too early to tell. Maybe Mr. McMahon just called Kane over, being like, look, I have a problem with James Storm talking crap on my show. He's not supposed to be out there. Do something about it. There goes Storm. There goes a counter by Storm, and now Storm with a diving clothesline. Very impressive bout by James Storm. I mean, he's doing pretty good against a former WWE champion. Now Kane needs to look for something big to put Storm away. Storm, there goes Irish whip to the Big Red Machine. This right here may be opening some eyes here in the NXT audience. James Storm is really for real. There goes a clubbing elbow to the back of the head. Is now James Storm maybe looking for that last call super kick. And now the last call being dodged by Kane. As now there goes a pump handle fall away slam by the Big Red Monster, dropping James Storm right on his spine. And now Kane looking for another choke slam to put James Storm away, grabbing the neck of Storm. James Storm is going down. There goes a choke slam by Kane, and thank you for coming, James Storm, as Kane right now is going to dominate you. The Big Red Machine getting a victory tonight on TakeOver. Is now James Storm going to be going back to the locker room with pain up his spine. But what an amazing debut on NXT by Kane. As now James Storm did everything he can, that attempted code breaker to slow down the Big Red Machine, but to no avail, as at the end of the day, Kane was able to dodge the last call, and he took James Storm to hell. Well, good attempt by Storm. You definitely have to give him some props for not running out of the building. He made this open challenge and he stood a chance against Kane, but at the end of the day, the veteran Kane was able to upset James Storm and probably his home field advantage on NXT. I'm still shocked that we're even seeing Kane, but that right there was a victory by the Big Red Monster. As now we're going to be heading to the main show, the NXT TakeOver show. We're going to see a lot more action coming your way as the Big Red Machine Kane leaving an exit from the pre-show tonight on NXT TakeOver England.